Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to our video. Well, in this chance, we would like to explain about selection and gradation of material. But before we are going to discuss about this topic, let me introduce about our group. This group has 3 members, namely myself, Ivana Yolanda, as the moderator and the first speaker, and the second speaker is Charlie Veronica, and the last speaker is Ado Putri Adela. Well, before we start it, let's say praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us health. Furthermore, the Honorable Ms. Dian Mega MPD as a lecturer in this course. Well, to shorten the time, let's just get into the topic of discussion. Among the most of the early activities in the language program were specification of teaching content and language learning in developing theory. The purpose of the content specification is to prepare a number of lists, the order in which to be taught, the environmental factors in which the subjects will be in use, the needs of students, and the principles of teaching and learning must be considered. Therefore, the specification process content maximize the interaction between content, students, and the learning process. And in curriculum development, when the input or content is determined, issues are linked with the content and design of class activities and materials that must be considered. So based on the principles of language teaching, content in language learning is mostly focused on language functions, topics and themes, skills and subsections, tasks, strategies, and etc. Therefore, based on the learning objectives, the development of certain units can be used to select and sort the material in the subject. In addition, there are several stages carried out in this activity, including first, specification of content in a language-centered syllabus. The specification of content in language-centered syllabus has become an area of more concern and controversy in second language pedagogy. The development of material in a language-centered syllabus demands a choice of what to include from the total subject area by selecting certain features of language and deliberate exclusion or other accidents. Therefore, choosing content focus more on grammar, structure, functional, notional categories, situations, and topic. Furthermore, the language analysis is the first, such as vocabulary selections. According to Wilkins, in 1976, stated that the methodology's first concern was on vocabulary because the use of everyday language was different from the vocabulary found by students in reading texts. In order to ensure the vocabulary content is most useful and relevant to the students' need, different criteria have been defined. For example, Wilkins states the following criteria like frequency, rank, availability, habits, and coverage. The second is grammar selection. According to Richard in 2001, states that the grammatical syllabus is developed from different principles based on the intuitive criterion of simplicity or centrality or learnability. According to the criteria of simplicity or structure center, which is simpler and more central with the basic structure, should be chosen rather than complex structures in the learning level basic. The second criterion, learnability. Grammar is used as the main unit of development, and however, the problem faced by content developers is how to assess and structure the elements of the language.
I'm Shirley Veronica will be explained about definitions of gradations and definitions of sequencing. According to Richards 2001, gradations and assessments are terms used and refer to the compositions of tongues for the purpose of doctrine. The specs of the syllabus are based on the term of syntactical complexity. It assumes that there is a reciprocal relationship between the linguistic complexity of the structure and its ability to learn. But finding language characters that make structure difficult and easy is crucial. Associated with gradations in linguist-speaking syllables, according to Richards 2001, describe the four approaches. First, distance or linguistic distance is a structure similar to the mother tongue must be taught first. Second, difficulty or intrinsic difficulty is a simple structure should be taught before more complex. The next, communicative needs is some structures are required early and can be delayed. And the last, spatial instruction sequence can be influenced by the frequency of occurrence. According to Richards 2001, explain that in gradations focus more on the teaching grouping and bookmarks in the syllabus. This means that a number of items and sequence in his teaching are to be clarified. Okay, the second principle is sequencing in harmony with 1. Lexical sequence, 2. The grammatical sequence, 3. Semantic sequence. Okay, according to Carter and Noonan 2001, define sequencing as how arts of knowledge and special skills and ability are arranged in syllabus or in teaching materials, so they describe a column of development and development. Page 226. Two types of sorting are described as follows. The first, the individual order of the item in each system, and 2. The combinations of items in a diverse structures. Okay, associate with system sequencing, a number of items specify a number of sequences that allow. The more open the system, the more likely the sequence. The sequence is the phonetic grammar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Madu Putri Adela. Right now, I will explain you about student-centered syllabus, learner-centered syllabus. Ricard 2001 states that teaching methods are deeply rooted in the syllabus or content selections. All methods can be categorized under one or two heads. Language-centered method, which contain method based on the theory, human nature of language. And learner-centered method, which are based on the theory of the learning process. The first thing that I want to explain you right now is about selection of content on student-centered material. You know, the student-centered syllabus follows an analytical approach in syllabus design where the teacher and students are the decision makers in the selection and grading of content. That's explained by White, 1998. And we're going to Noonan 1997. So that the student-centered syllabus focuses on collaboration between teacher and students that involve students in determining the selection and grading of content. This can directly determine the needs of students. In addition, the student-centered syllabus can textbooks that adhere to the principle of communicative language teaching, which emphasize the role of students in determining learning content through participation and doing some communicative tasks. Tomlinson 2008 mentioned things that must be in students' textbooks that help in language learning. The first is provides multiple experiences with various genres and text types. The second is provide a positive aesthetic experience through graphic design. The third is using multimedia for a richer and more varied language learning. The fourth, helping students to find their own. The fifth, helping students become independent students. The sixth is provides additional material for listening and reading. The last is about helping students personalize and localize language learning. Okay, my friends, the second explanation that I will explain to you today is about gradation and sequencing. Material development through a student-centered approach emphasizes incorporating pedagogical assignment into content in line and grading these assignments with a focus on students rather than others. Noonan 1997 states assessing the student's content in the form of a pedagogical task is complex and depends on the following factors. What's that? The first is the degree to which language is attached to a context that facilitates understanding. The next, the degree to which language makes cognitive demands on students. Next, the degree to which the user background knowledge can be used to aid understanding. Next is amount of assistance provided to students. Next, processing language difficulties. The next is the level of stress experienced by students while engaging with language. Brandley 1988 emphasizes that the interactions of three students factors, assignments, and text in determining task difficulty. He suggests two follow factors to consider in grading purposes. The first is students factor includes self-confidence, motivations, learning experience, culture, and knowledge of language. Second, task factor, namely relevance, complexity, the number of contexts associated with the task, the ability to process language in the task. And the last is text factor, including text size, text formatting, contextual clues, and text content. Okay, friends, since the act of sequencing a student-centered syllabus is complex, Carbell 1985 states the following four steps. The first is about identify students' interest and students' need in a broader sense. The second is identify a number of communication situations related to the theme to form a sequential steps. The third is select the material according to the situation in the action sequencing, And the fourth is select a language point to focus on and from the material. Okay, my friends, that is my explanation about our material today. I'm so sorry for all my mistakes. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, that's all our explanation about selection and gradation in material development. Hopefully, this video can be useful for everyone. Well, I think that's enough. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next video. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.